So in my last YouTube video, I gave a book review about the book that I finished reading yesterday, and it's called Who's Got Your Back? So again, in this part 2 video, I'm just going to kind of give you a brief summary of what the book was about. It's by an author named Keith, and he explains basically in the book, it's how to get along with better employees, but it's also mostly geared toward managers. And he says that the whole point of the book is that managers need to be less judgmental and more open with their employees, and they need to be creating a safe space for where employees feel more comfortable. So I read the book. I really liked it. I don't know who would not like it because it can, give you advice about how to advance in your career. So basically when the book starts out, in chapter 1, Keith is telling about how many years ago, he was just about a year out of college and he was working for a company. And, he was working there a few years, and then he was applying for other jobs, and he got a career offer from another company. And actually, in the book, he said that he actually sat down and talked to his boss for about an hour, and then they ended up deciding that Keith quit his job and started a new career. So basically the book details how Keith was comfortable enough with his boss where he could actually ask his boss for anything. And that's what he says is the problem, is that sometimes that, people don't feel comfortable enough with their bosses. It should be a relaxed enough atmosphere so you sort of feel like you're dealing with a friend and you can ask your boss anything. Even in this case, Keith was able to ask his boss whether he should take a career somewhere else. And then I won't get into it too much because if you want to know more, you have to buy the book off of Amazon. But I won't tell you all of them, but there are 4 mindsets that you should have when you're at work. So 2 of them are accountability and honesty. So with honesty, you should be able to be, kind of saying whatever you want, you feel more comfortable saying. He is saying, and he warns against the book, sometimes don't be a phony at work and just tell your boss, oh, okay, yeah, sure, I can do that when you can't do it. And that people should be more like their real selves at work and just, say if they don't have the skills or if they don't feel comfortable doing something. So that's what being honest is about. And if you have a suggestion for a coworker or for your boss, that you be able to do that. And then the second one of the 4 mindsets is accountability. So that means, being able to do the things that your boss can ask and be responsible, and the employees should all hold each other responsible, and that your boss also, will be honest enough with you to be telling you where you are lacking. Another theme in the book that Keith addresses that I thought was really important is he says that the main problem in careers nowadays is that the lack of communication. And he was saying that if you're the boss, you should set up, like a 10-minute phone call with your each employee at least once a week. Sometimes do it every day if that's helpful. And then you should also, he suggested the boss take each member of the team out for a 1-hour dinner at least once a month. So it was a really good book. I would say that anybody could use it, and I thought it, kind of went into details about how we should feel more comfortable in the workplace. So I made a part 2 book review because I was, I finished it yesterday, and what I personally thought was really interesting was that there was a section in the book where it was talking about 20 different types of people you should avoid at work. So I'm going to go, in my last video I kind of read them off a list and everything, but in this video I'm going to go a little bit more into detail about the 20 types of coworkers that you should avoid. Insecure. You know that kind of person I mean. There are those whose ego are too small for the kind of job that the boss wants her to get done. To her staff, she may be the boss, but inside she's very insecure. And, this addresses this insecure person as somebody that, everybody likes, but no matter what they do, they just don't feel that they themselves are ever good enough. The black and white thinker. Uptight, this person could write the book on it. If things don't go his way, he freezes up, unable to bend or even work together as a team. His sheer mindset makes it impossible for him to work on a team, and his insistence at doing things his way. So this isn't really good, especially at work. Like, this is the worst place that you could have a mindset like this. And this is the person that doesn't want to work with anybody else's suggestions, and that's not even good. That's not part of the team. Bad attitude. He sees the glass as always half empty and tends to resist change from anybody, given that the alternative might well have even been worse, but when the balance is always weighted against, change is never good. Perfectionist. Sets impossibly high standards. Perfection is a problem instead of getting done a lot of goals. So this person is the boss where you can never make her happy at all. And he can never accept mistakes from himself or other people. Victim. The person this company feels powerless to steer clear of the situation and any decisions that are beyond her control. Risk avoider. He or she is insecure and tries to steer clear of situations and choices that could result in failure. Struggler. Feeling isolated or cut off from others, she craves attention for her efforts. She seeks out problems and bad situations because she's really insecure with herself, so she's always trying to get anything that will get attention. Conflict avoider, feeling responsible for the happiness of others, downplays the disagreements, changes issues, avoids topics altogether. Overachiever, afraid of failure and embarrassment. He is driven by low self-worth and tends to take on too much and completely throws himself into his career. Underachiever, rather than trying and failing, under the achiever doesn't believe in herself, and so she likes not to exert herself in the first place. She falls short of her own and others' limits. Shamer. Deals with her feelings of insecurity by blaming others. She tends to share, embarrass, or humiliate others to cover up for her own fear of failure. Fixer. She sees herself as better than everyone else. She is resentful of others' weaknesses and feels she is always cleaning up after other people. Bully. Copes with his feelings of anger and insecurity by being mad at the world. He covers up his feelings for being alone in the world by blowing up and picking on others. Schmoozer, always on. In relationships with others, he's very fake. He tells others what they want to hear because he doesn't really want to be real. He'll just say, oh yeah, I like doing that too, to just agree with whatever other people like, so everybody else likes him. Micromanager. Mistrustful, feels the only way she can control things is by controlling. She doesn't expect others to meet her limits and strict standards. She can't stand it when other people make choices. Joker, fearful of the truth about himself. The way of coping is to always be making a joke. He deflects serious topics about himself by making a joke. Pleaser, always in need of approval. All things tries to make everybody happy 100% of the time. Drama queen. Feels devalued and not important. Trusts small issues into large ones. Hard time keeping her mind clear. Racehorse. Speeding along, does not pay any attention to how his actions affect others. He hardly gives attention to others' feelings or needs and believes the first one wins. And this is also a really bad one because he is not part of the team. So, like I said, I finished reading yesterday Who's Got Your Back, and in this book interview, part two, I kind of summarized, and at the end again, I went over the 20 different types of coworkers that you should avoid.